Good day, greetings students. I'm very happy to meet you all again in class 12 business studies. Do you remember what we have referred to in the previous lesson? We are in chapter 4, planning. Already we have completed 3 chapters and we are into the chapter number 4, which is called as planning. Due to CBSE's restrictions of the portions, the last bit of demonetization and impact of government policy on business and industry. In chapter 3 has been deleted from the portions, but still I wanted you to go through into it of what it says, what were the impacts for better understanding purpose, because we are going to talk about the business environment repeatedly. What is business environment, you remember? Everything that is out of the business, that is not part of the business but out of the business, but still has an ability to affect your business is called as business environment. So we discussed various points about business environment, and now we are into the managerial functions, right? What are the managerial functions? We have planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling, and we have seen it in the cycle how it is interrelated, right? You remember it? It is interrelated. No activity is independent, it is all interrelated, everything leads to one another. It comes as a cycle, or somewhere in between you can go back to planning. Even when you are in directing, you need to plan, or you need to change something in your organization, organizing structure, and everything happens. That's why we call it interrelated. Now what is planning? Out of all the other 5 managerial functions, the first function that we are learning in detail is planning. That is your chapter number 4, which is called as planning. Now planning is considered to be the primary objective or the primary function of a management. We say that yes, all the functions are important and all the managerial functions are interrelated, but still we call planning as a primary function. Why do we call planning as a primary function? Because it starts the entire process of management. That is why we call planning as the primary function or the basic managerial function. Do you remember what is planning? Planning is deciding. It is a set course of action that tells you what to do and how to do it. Both these points come under planning, right? So what is a plan? A plan is a set course of action. There may be many courses of action. It is not that we take only one course of action. There will be many alternative courses of action. Out of all the alternate courses of action, we choose whichever is good for us, whichever is feasible for our management, and we act according to that particular plan. So planning bridges the gap between where we are and where we want to be, right? To attain your objectives, a clear-cut plan helps you a lot. So in the previous class we have discussed about the objectives of planning and the importance of planning. So why do we think planning is important? Because planning provides direction to you. It tells you where to go. It gives you the set objectives, right? It gives you the set objectives, so it is easy for you to go according to a clear-cut plan, because manager can understand the plan and he or she can take it to the level of the employees. Okay, planning is pervasive, right? One of the important characteristics of planning is that planning is pervasive. What is pervasive? Pervasive means it is uniform or it is common. Just like how management is pervasive, planning is also pervasive. In what terms? Planning is prevailing, or it is the same process from the top management to the low level of management. Every department and every level of management needs their own plan. Yes, the organization will have an entire plan, and when it is coming to department, it differs. Right. So attaining a profit, or let's say that we are going to expand our business is a set objective. Okay, for that we make a plan that we need to expand our business. Means we are going to open the branches in 2 more cities, and we are going to, we are going to increase the production. This is what is our plan. This is the overall plan of the organization. When it comes to different departments, how does it differ? How does it differ? We say that, okay, let's analyze this example in detail. We are in chapter planning. Okay, so what is the objective? The objective is to increase production and expand your business. Okay, this is going to be the company's objective. The overall management's objective is going to be this, and the plan is set for this. The company has made a plan for this. But now when it goes to different levels and different departments, how do their departments plan? For example, when it goes production means first you need to purchase your raw material. So when you go for your purchase department, okay, there the plan will be different. What? They have to buy the raw materials at a low cost. Right? They have to buy the raw materials at a low cost. That would be their plan. And they have to choose the right purchaser, like from whom we can procure the raw materials. Because earlier we procured from this person and the product's quality was like this. Even raw material should be of good quality, right? Then only we'll be able to produce good qualitative products. So that would be the plan of the purchase department. The objective of purchase department will become that. Then comes again the production department. Now their plan will be different. What will be their plan? They want to produce efficiently and effectively. So their efficiency and their effectiveness should be proven. Okay, they have to choose the right methods and they have to produce in a proper way. Their objectives will differ. And then when it comes to HRD, that is Human Resource Department staffing, they have a different plan to choose competent people. Okay, so that will be their plan. They would want to train their personnel, they would want to develop their personnel, they would want to give the new idea of the production to the personnel. So that comes in HRD department, Human Resource Department. And when it comes to sales, they need to promote the sales. Okay, so promoting sales will be their plan. Okay, promote the sales. Advertising also comes here. New forms of advertisements we have to frame. Then comes finance department. To reduce the cost. Okay, they have to reduce the cost and increase the profit. So finance department involves it. They have a different plan. And next research and development. Okay, R&D department. They have a different thing. They have to analyze the customers, they have to analyze the market position, and they have to come to a clear-cut idea of what kind of products are required, what is the need of the customers. Everything has to be decided by the research and development department. So even though it is only one single plan, one single objective, when it is given to all the different departments and different levels of management, it takes new forms, new objectives and new plans for each and every department. It is a group work, it is a team work, coordination comes here. Right, that's why we call as planning is pervasive. And planning is a clear set of objectives and ideas that help you to know what is the main objective and towards what we have to work. That's what is very, very important. Clear? So even though we know that planning is basic function and it is one of the important functions and everything, but still there are certain limitations of planning. What do you think would be the limitations of planning? We have discussed about the features of planning, and now I want you to take a guesswork as usual. I want you to take a small little guesswork to imagine or think what might be the limitations of planning. Right, have you taken a guesswork? Can we know how much it matches? Yes, let us know the limitations of planning. Right. What could be the first limitation? We refer to a feature that planning is a set course and whenever we want we can recall it, we can just come back and refer to it whether it's going on in the right way. It's a clear-cut plan, a mental exercise where the manager involves and it helps in decision making, everything. These are the features. Now what might be the limitations is what we are going to discuss. It leads to rigidity. What do we mean by rigidity? You have come across this term already. Management should be flexible and not rigid. Do you remember this term? So planning leads to rigidity. What is rigidity? Opposite of flexible. That is very fixed and stern. It's not easy to change it, or it is not easy to adapt. Right? So when you have a set objective, that this is the objective and this is the plan, according to this only you have to go. When there is a certain change in the market or a change in the business environment, you will not be able to change it. You will not be able to accommodate yourself according to that. ஏன்னா நம்ம ஒரு பிளான்ல கிளியரா மென்ஷன் பண்ணிருக்கோம், இது இப்படி தான் நடக்கணும், இவங்க தான் இது பண்ணணும், ஓவர்லாப் ஆகக்கூடாது, வேஸ்ட் ஆகக்கூடாது. We have decided so many things. So the plan is not flexible because planning is done based on forecasting. Right? We determine, manager thinks, okay, so it might happen, or forecast the future. We don't know what is going to happen in the future. So what happens? It's entirely a guesswork, forecasting, and it might not be right all the time. So when you need a change where or top level put the plan and low level management lower change பண்ணனும்னு நினைச்சாங்கன்னா, it is not possible because that is a clear cut plan. Every department should follow the same, every employee should follow the same. So it is not at all flexible, it's rigid. You can't change it. Okay, it is not flexible and it is not good even, right? When things are not flexible, it's not good. It will easily break, right? So you have a rubber band, it's flexible. Okay, it has the elasticity, so you are pulling it to accommodate accordingly, right? But when you have a stick, it's not flexible, it's rigid. Okay, so when you try to bend it or when you try to change its nature, it breaks. That's rigid and flexible. But when you take a tube, you know, a water pipe or water hose, you can flexible, it's flexible, you can bend it. When you want to reach to a place or when you want to reach a tree or a plant that is somewhere away, you can bend it, it will not break. So flexibility is very, very important, not only for a normal household thing, but for management also. Planning leads to rigidity. So you can't change your plan, you can't adjust accordingly. That's why we call it a limitation. Of course it is a limitation. Right, children? What would be the next limitation you think? Planning may not work in a dynamic environment. In a dynamic environment. What is dynamic? Changing, right? Something that changes regularly or unexpectedly is called to be dynamic. It's not constant, it is dynamic. And we know the business environment is dynamic. There are various dimensions of business environment, and what are they? We have the political environment, legal environment, economic environment, social environment and technological environment. Out of these five environments, anything can change at any point of time. Example, take economic environment. Some new policy comes. There is a change. But when you have a plan, it may not work in change. You would have planned without GST. But all of a sudden, when the economic policy is brought in GST, you can't change it. It will not help. Right, so the plan will not work there. When you want to abort a plan, when you want to stop the process that is happening after the plan, itself is a failure. Right, and in case of social environment, when the trend changes, okay, we know we never understand people's minds clearly, right? Society is made of people, and when people's minds change, when their taste and preferences change, so does the fashion, so does the trend of the society changes, and then your plan may not work. When you take technological environment, when another company brings a new innovation and you want to stick with your old rigid plan, it's not going to help you in your expansion or in your development. So when you take legal environment, when there is a new law or when a new rule comes on imports or exports or something or the other, again it's going to affect your business. But since your plan is going to be rigid, what happens? You cannot change accordingly to the dynamic environment. And finally, political environment. It is unpredictable. We don't know what happens in politics at any time. And the change in political environment leads to the government's changes in government. When there is a change in government, then there is a government policy change also. So it not only affects the political environment, but it might affect the economical environment too. That is why we say that planning may not work in dynamic environment. When we say may not, it's a probability. It may work or may not work. If it is working, then it is well and good. But in case if it is not going to work, then we are going to face the loss. Right? So it's going to be definitely a limitation of planning. What could be the next thing? So connect it. So we have spoken about flexibility and rigidity. We have spoken about dynamic environment, so kind of related. What would be the next thing? We have seen that who does the planning? Mainly the manager. And how does he do it? It's a mental exercise. So he has to use his forecasting, sound judgment, and previous experiences. And with all of those, he'll be taking a decision. He'll be making a clear-cut plan and putting it into practice. And whatever plan is set at the top level of the management has to be followed by each and every employee of the organization. Then is there any possibility for every employee to express his or her own ideas? No. There might be an idea of a new employee, but it will not be appreciated, or it might not even be welcomed. So what does planning do? Planning reduces creativity. Right? Because when we say that it is a set plan, we have to follow only this. So creativity will not work out there because there is no need of thinking something new. It is already said, it is already clearly given, it is already put into words. And that is in the practice also. So what is the need of thinking of a new thing? So it reduces creativity. Employee may not come forward with his ideas the next time. He or she will think that okay, the management is going to give me a plan and I'm just going to blindly follow it. What is the need for me to think? So it reduces or kind of curtails the entire creativity of each individual, which is not good for the organization. Why? Because when creativity stops, so does its innovation. When there is no innovation, a management or a company cannot survive in the technological environment. That is the thing we say again, it is connected, right? When we talk about dynamic environment, it comes into business environment. And when you control the creativity or reduce the creativity, it's going to affect the technological environment of the organization. Right? And next, what is it? The next limitation is planning involves, what do you think it involves? It involves huge costs. We were thinking about the finance department, right? We were thinking about the finance department and how they will think. They want to do cost cutting. Not only the finance department, the entire organization has to work efficiently. Efficiently means what? Using less cost and less resources, we have to give good output. That is the meaning of efficiency. But when we talk about planning, when you have a planning meeting, when you have a meeting for planning, you need to have a conversation or you need to have a group discussion where people from various departments will be coming. And when they come, you have to arrange the board meeting too. It's not very simple. You know how a high-level management meeting happens. They should have a boardroom water bottles there. Alright, notepad should be provided, pencil should be provided, if there is a PPT, of course, and it's all for discussion. But still it involves cost, right? After all this process, if you get a good feasible plan, if it works well, fine, well and good. It's an investment. But when it comes, when after such a discussion, you're going to have many courses of action. You're going to discuss each and every alternative course of action. And everything is going to not work. Out of 10 ideas, you are going to accept or agree with one or maximum 2. What about the remaining 8 ideas? The discussions that you have done for it. The time you have spent for it. It's considered to be loss, not investment. Of course, you'll be learning something or the other out of it. But still, the cost occurred as occurred. It cannot be seen as investment. And of course it involves huge cost because you need to analyze so many things. The manager has to analyze so many things. He or she is going to do it alone or with the top level management. Means very limited people are going to be there. Those people should come across with the resources. They have to refer to so many things and lots of meetings should be held. And every time a meeting is organized, they will be providing snack, lunch, refreshment. Everything comes under cost. And who's going to bear the cost? The management. So planning is really a costly process because we are going to discuss about various alternative courses of action, but we are going to select only one course of action, and after that also what we are going to do, we have to follow it up, we have to see whether it is working properly. If it is not working according to the plan or if it's not going according to the idea, then it's going to be a huge loss that we are going to face. That's why we say that planning is a cost involving process and it involves huge cost, not just costly, it's huge cost and it might work at times and it might not work in dynamic environment. Right, as we change, as the environment changes, we should also be able to change. But what happens? Planning is rigid. It's not allowing us to be flexible. And so what happens? We cannot change. When we can't change, it controls the creativity. And of course, we have to face all the losses and it's going to be a huge cost involving process for us. Right? When we talk about cost is related to money. But what is the one more thing that when you spend it, you cannot take it back? You have spent it, okay? It's gone. But you cannot take it back. How or what is that? It's called time, right? Time is a really valuable resource or a valuable thing for everybody. Because we say time and tide waits for none. And it's true, right? Once you spend this 45 minutes watching this class, spent for the class is your knowledge. You're going to obtain your knowledge. But at the same time, when you're going, can you take back this 45 minutes instead of this? I want to do something else. Means can you take it back? No, whatever you have spent is spent. So planning, so instead of planning I'm going to use a pronoun which is it. It is a time consuming process. Why is it called a time consuming process? Why? Because we know planning is a process. There are different steps. Okay, planning, the process of planning involves around 6 to 7 steps and each step is going to take time. Just to figure out a plan itself we need time because what are we going to do? We are going to involve huge cost and we have a meeting and we are going to discuss the alternative courses of action. We are going to have some judgment, imagination, forecasting. So all these will not happen in a fraction of a second. It takes a lot of time. So it is a time consuming process. And when the plan is set, the process can continue, the other works can continue. But still, for fixing the right plan itself, you need the time. And at each stage, you need to follow it up. Why do you have to follow up a plan, you think? Because you need to know whether it is going in the right format or not. I have framed a plan, I'll give it to the manager or I'll give it to the next person to handle with it. Can you say like that? No. You need to make sure that it is followed in each and every step right. Right. That is why we say that planning is the time consuming process. And what would be the next point? Planning doesn't guarantee success. Why? You have done so much, you have involved so much of time, huge cost, everything we have given, and still it does not give success. Why and how? Yes, it might not guarantee success to you because the environment is dynamic and your plan is rigid. When your plan is rigid and the environment is dynamic, you are not ready to change yourself, then of course it might not lead to success. And we have seen that planning is a continuous process. We either make a plan for quarter of the year or for a year or for 10 years, like that. Long-term planning and short-term planning. Okay, short-term plans and long-term plans we say. So for example, when you are joining in 11th standard, you will decide that in 12th standard, after my 12th standard, I am going to enter business management or I am going to study in IIT. Like that, when you decide, it's a long-term plan. Right? Because just now you have joined in 11th standard and you are thinking about 12th standard's results. It's a long-term planning. But when you plan something for the next forthcoming exam, this exam I'm definitely going to score the highest mark in the class. I'm going to score definitely better than my previous exam. It's a short-term plan. You have to work for a little term and you can see the success immediately or the result immediately. Long-term plan, you need to wait for a while. Right, and each plan cannot guarantee success. Just like your short-term plans, for example, you wanted to get good marks in a particular exam. Okay, you have tried very well and it might give you a success or it might not give. Someone would have scored better or due to some health reason you would not have been able to perform the exam properly. In that case, it might not give you success. Every plan and its process will not guarantee success to you. Because why? It's done based on forecasting. Right. I am going to sell sweets. Okay. I'm a producer of sweets and I'm going to increase my sales during Diwali. About what? On basis of what do I plan? I will take the record of previous year. Okay. How many sweet boxes have been sold last year? In which area was it sold at the highest? So what would be the cost? What changes were required? All this I'll take it to mind. And then what I sit and analyze the present economic environment. As a manager, I sit and analyze, okay, imagine producers before this pandemic situation, they would have planned in a different way. So take in that case, I'm a manager and I'm thinking that Diwali is going to be great. Okay, and I'm just thinking, okay, at present people are in employment and they can afford to buy this rate. I'm done. So I'm planning and I'm producing it for that particular cost. But suddenly there is a change and my plan is rigid. And I can't change myself to dynamic environment. So what happens? Your planning fails. Because of the pandemic situation, people are not ready to buy sweets. Their economic positions have gone down. Nowadays they are not interested in sweets. They want to buy hand sanitizers and masks instead. So what happened? The social environment also has changed. So every plan will not guarantee success. Right? So when it does not give you success, it happens to be a waste of cost. Already you have involved huge cost and that is going to be a waste. And whatever time you have spent in making the plan, working it out and following it out, implementing the plan, all the things, the production, everything becomes a waste of cost. That's why we say that it does not guarantee success. What is it? Planning will not guarantee success every time that you undergo it. Understood? So what are the limitations of planning? What we have discussed till now, we have discussed about planning. What is planning? Planning is considered to be the basic or one of the most important managerial functions. Out of the 5 different functions of management, planning is considered to be the beginning point, the start point. Because what does planning give you? Planning tells you the objectives. It is setting of objectives and it provides direction to you how to work. Based on your plan only, you will be doing all your other functions. Because once your plan is ready, you can organize your materials according to that. Then you can staff competent people for your plan, for working out of your plan. Then you direct the people, that is recruit them, train them, develop them and take them in the right way. Then controlling. Planning standardizes controlling. It helps in controlling. Right, because you have a set goal. You can at any time refer what is given in the plan. Am I going in the right way? How am I to deviate myself? All this you can look into. But what are the limitations of planning? Everything has some limitations. And what are they? Even though planning is pervasive, it leads to rigidity. Why? We know that planning is applicable in all the departments. Right? Every department has a different plan. But why do we call it as planning leads to rigidity? Why is it not flexible? Because it's a set objective. Out of many alternate courses of action only, you have chosen one. So that only will be followed. You cannot change from it. You have to go according to it. Because the manager has in mind that it will reduce the uncertainty, it will reduce the risk of uncertainty. So the manager will make you to go in the same way, and so it is rigid, it is controlled. You cannot change from the path. Then planning cannot work in a dynamic environment. We know that environments are changing. All the dimensions of environment cannot be constant all the time. It has to change. We never realized till March 10 or March 15, nobody would have realized that we will be into so many difficulties. Until 21st or 24th, we will not have recognized that there is going to be a lockdown and it's going to be in different phases. Right? After each phase, we don't know that whether we are going to be released or whether another lockdown will come, and every day we are getting new information, some or the other way. So it's a dynamic environment. One day it's increasing and it is decreasing. For disease, when it is like that, when the spread is like that, think about the business environment. It's a huge environment and there are 5 different dimensions. Anything can change at any point of time. Out of this 5, any one changes also, it is going to affect your business. So when your planning is rigid, definitely you will not be able to accommodate yourself or make yourself flexible to work in this dynamic environment. What happens then? The entire planning process becomes a waste. Your planning may not lead you to success. Right? And what do we say next? Planning reduces creativity. Though it may not stop it, it is reducing. Why? Planning is done only by managers. It is set. Top level management people will make the company's goals. And when it is divided into different departments, the department heads will be fixing a plan. Is it like every employee can work on their own plan? No. The company working hours are 8 hours. It's fixed that company should work for 8 hours or an employee should work for 8 hours. Means every employee should fall into the same plan and same group. He or she cannot change it. One individual cannot change it. When it is coming to working hours, it is like that. When it comes to a design, right? Imagine a garment factory. Okay, a new employee, everybody wants to produce goods or produce saris in a particular design. Okay, the material should be this and the cost should be this, the design should be printed in such way, everything is fixed and decided. Now when a new employee joins and he or she has a different idea, will he or she be allowed to fall into it? No. Why? Because it is a set goal and set objective. Everybody has to fall within the same plan. It reduces the creativity of each individual. When it is reduced, he or she, the individual, will be demotivated and may not come with new ideas. When new ideas are not there, innovation is not there. When innovation is not there, technological environment is going to affect the business and we may not be able to obtain a profit, or at times we may not be able to survive in the society. And then comes planning involves huge cost. Yes, the planning process, the meetings that are held to frame a set plan, the way we have to put our plan, the implementation of plan, everything is a costly process. It takes time. It's going to involve the cost of like we are going to recruit people, right? We are going to obtain some resources for these meetings. We are going to organize them in the right way. For all these, what happens? you need to invest something. It might be an investment when it is going to be a success. It might not be an investment. It is just going to be expenses when it is not success. Clear? So, for example, what do we say? You are going to gift your friend something. Okay? You have bought something really costly. For 500 or 1000 rupees, you have bought something. You are taking it to your friend. You are giving. Okay? And your friend, when he or she is happy, it is an investment for you and you are happy about it. So it is not a waste of money. But when your friend says that, why did you buy this? I already have this, or I don't like it, or I'm not going to use it, then it's a waste of money for you. Right? So it is in a short scale. But when you take it in a long, broader sense, huge cost. Planning involves huge cost. Then it is a time consuming process because it has various processes, various steps in planning, and various alternate courses of action should be compared and contrasted. The present market environment should be taken into account, forecasting should be done, judgment should be good, everything involves time. Right? And it doesn't guarantee success. The biggest limitation is that every plan that a company makes may not give you a success. Okay? So these are the various limitations of planning. Even though we say that it is important for an organization or a management to plan, and there are many benefits, we say their characteristics, we have discussed all these points. But still, we consider that planning has a few limitations like this, and when these limitations can be overcome, then planning can be successful. But still, is it possible to overcome all these limitations? No, you can't possibly overcome all these limitations. But what can you do? You can be precautionary. You can take precautionary measures to make your plan in such a way. Right? That is, as a manager, that would be your work. Because you need to know the limitations and then you need to frame your plans. That's why we are discussing the limitations of planning. Okay? What will be the next thing? We are going to discuss the process of planning. It is a process. It's not just like that you come up with a plan. It is a detailed process which involves various steps. Okay? What might be the steps in process of planning? So we say process of planning. First, what are you doing? First step would be setting your objectives. Right? First, what are you going to do? We are going to set the objectives, because based on setting your objectives, based on your objectives only, you are going to figure out the rest of the plan. That is why we say that setting objectives is the first step in the process of planning. Then, developing premises. This is considered to be the second step in the planning process, which means that you need to have a clear-cut way. Premises means what? Like a compound, right? The steps, building, everything comes there, right? So you need to have the right format or the right structure for your plan. That's why we call it as a developing premises. Next, we discuss the alternative courses of action. So what do we do next? We identify the alternate courses of action. Okay? Because we know that for reaching one particular place, then we discussed about map, right? For reaching our destination, there might be more than one way. When we have more than one way, they are called as alternative courses of action. What are they called? We call them alternative courses of action. Right? What are the different ways to do it? And what do we do next? We need to evaluate them. Evaluating what? Evaluating each course of action. How do you evaluate? By considering the most feasible way. You will be thinking about the possibilities of putting that action into practice, and you will be thinking about the merits and demerits of each course of action. Okay? So you evaluate each course of action. Right. After evaluating, you select one course of action. Okay, you select the right course of, or whichever desired course of action will be selected. Okay. What do you do next? You will be implementing a plan. That is, implementing that particular course of action. Implementing means what? Putting it into effect. Okay, making it happen. And then finally you will follow it up. This is very, very important, children, because you need to check whether it is going according to the plan that you have made, whether there is any deviation, whether there is anything that has to be corrected. All these points have to be taken into account. Okay? So what are the various steps? Setting of objectives. Then you need to develop the premises, that is, you have to give a clear-cut format. Then you need to identify the alternate courses of action. What are the other ways, or what are the different ways of going on with the plan, or making it happen. What are the various ways to achieve your objectives? Then evaluating each course of action. Okay, each course of action should be what? Evaluated. You should study each course of action and compare, choose the best one. You have to select the right course of action, and then you have to implement the plan that you have chosen, and finally you need to follow it up. That is, you need to make sure that everything is going according to the process. Each step you have to see that it works out. Okay, so that if there is any change, you need to come back again. And when you have various courses of action, when one goes wrong, you will be coming up with another course of action when you are following it up. Clear? These are the steps in the process of planning. In the next video session, we will be studying in detail about each step of process of planning. Till that, children, I want you to go through whatever we have studied so far and try to make a plan for a small thing. See how it works. Okay? And whether you are able to implement your plan and all those things, I want you to experience it personally. So, thank you, children, and may you all have a great day.